And welcome back to the games. I'm bringing Anthem coverage to the channel. My fans were like, hey, check this out a year ago. And I didn't want to because it had that electronic arts, that EA, those two vowels that make me want to retch. And I looked at it for a little bit and I thought to myself, it's not my cup of tea because, you know, no PvP. It looked a little bit too like Destiny. It looked a little bit too much like a Warframe, like a grind. I was kind of put off by it. But then at the insistence of my fans, a year later, I was trying to upgrade my Discord and my audience was like, hey, check it out. Just please, DG, just dig a little bit deeper, do a little bit more research. And so I started watching this conference and I see the dudes up there and one of them looks like AC Slater from Saved by the Bell. Yeah, this guy right here. It was like, you know, I don't know, no offense against this guy, but you know, but the whole panel was like, they're all dressed to be like, hey, we're cool, hip adults trying to, you know, fit in and pretend like, you know, we love you guys, kind of, except for the writer and the developer, you know, which are the two on the end, but these two over here. And so I'm like, oh God, you know, don't worry about it, DG, just keep watching. And so what I really figured out about Anthem, and the reason why so many people are interested in the game, and myself included, is this like storyline and the ability, if they can do it, and by that I mean the developers, EA and BioWare, if they can give us like this cool transition between multiplayer play with your friends, which is co-op, so you know you can have up to 4 people in a squad and you can go out in this world that everybody can share and everybody can see, which is cool. So it's a world where you can see the same sunrise and set and the same you know, weather patterns, which, you know, this planet's supposed to be like hell to live on, essentially. Like the gods left is the story, but they left their tools, and which is kind of neat. And you need these suits called javelins, and there's 4 different types of roles covered in the game, and you can customize your suit, and that's where the DLC comes in. And I was just like, oh God, because they're gonna have so much DLC with this game. There's no, you know, guys, just, you know, it's not going to be pay to win though, which is cool. So then I'm going back and forth. I'm like, okay, well, it's not pay to win because they're not giving you like weapons to pay for that are going to make you OP compared to somebody else. They're just going to offer it different varieties of looks and suits and content in a way, you know. So that kind of got my hopes back up, and to be able to do co-op with friends and then slide into a story where it's like a single play mode. That is where the juice is with Anthem. If they can make that transition seamless so that like you're playing with your friends and then you slide into like that kind of single play mode, I think that's exactly what's going to make this game a make or break title. And I'm going to continue to cover this. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about each of the classes as we continue forward. I think this game's going to offer you something that a lot of other games don't, because it reminded me, like I said, of a Warframe / Destiny / Mech Warrior kind of feel to it, with that Dragon Age kind of storyline, or that Mass Effect kind of storyline. They definitely are going to have the ability to engage their audience with that particular storyline, make it immersive, and then create like a whole kind of really great history, continuing to put more storyline in after the fact. This world can continue to be built upon, and that I think is where really is the draw for people. You know, so many times like multiplayer kind of ruins it in the fact that like it's hard to be immersed because your friend's then walking around and he's talking about his day and you're like, I don't want to know what happened to you today. I just want to be immersed in this world, and that role play quality is kind of gone in that respect. This particular game almost endorses that RPG element. And let's face it, BioWare was, you know, is a soup of amazing RPG, you know, like that's where they came from. Like I said, Baldur's Gates, I spent so much time playing Baldur's Gate and Neverwinter Nights, and I mean they did Knights of the Old Republic as well, Star Wars, and you know I wasn't that huge a fan of that particular title, but they always had like a rich like storyline that kind of brought you in, and I think this game is going to give you that in spades, man. This particular storyline is where it's at, and if they can just transition it, that's the thing. If they can make it so that the multiplayer slides right into that storytelling narrative, and then you can slide back into like playing with your friends again and slide back into the narrative, I think if they perfect that, they're going to have a magic recipe for a super successful game. If because it's never really been done before, and that's what the super secret sauce is for Anthem. So let's keep watching. I'm going to put more Anthem content on there. I'm probably going to talk about the different suits, the Javelin suits, and what they're capable of. I do like the fact that they're customizable. These suits are basically, you can change the geometry a little bit on the suits. They're called Javelins. You can change the color, obviously, the design. I think that's going to fall under the lines of the DLC a little bit, so it's going to get a little bit too when it comes to that, but everybody's going to want to feel like a personal character in the game. The character creation is where it's at. The storytelling narrative is where it's at. Let's see where Anthem takes us. I'm very excited. And like I said, not generally my cup of tea. Like, not generally my cup of tea, but my audience forced me to look at it in a way in which I'm happy that they did. So thank you guys for kind of pushing me into like Anthem. And as much as this isn't normally my type of game, it intrigues me. So I'm going to continue some content here. Let's see how the Anthem content does on the channel. Let me know what you guys think. Tell me what your experience with Anthem is. I'd really like to hear that. And thanks so much. If you love the channel, support us on Patreon. And the content just keeps rolling here on the channel. I'm having a great time with you guys. Thanks so much. I'll probably put a poll in the community about Anthem, how many people like Anthem, and maybe we can discuss that on the next particular video. I always have a good time with you guys. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the guys. See you on the next video.